Everything looks clean and tight. That's the way you like them, eh? Clean and tight? Friggin' right. Oh my goodness. Painted the valve cover. Only one. And then I ran out of paint. This is the same paint that I used on the alternator bracket. It's called Wrinkle Plus, VHT Wrinkle Plus. So it has kind of like a wrinkly finish to it. And it's high temperature and chemical resistant and all that good stuff. Look how clean it is inside. Look at the internals. I never expected it to be that clean inside. That's the reason why I bought this wrinkle finish paint, this high temperature paint. I bought it specifically for the valve covers. And I think the block is the same. There's the coil packs. I'll just have a quick look at them. I might have to clean them up a bit. They're not too bad. I've seen worse. Probably get another can of paint. I was thinking about painting the brake booster or maybe just replacing it. It works fine. Works good. It's just the wrong color. I put an LED scanner light in the grill of the hood, and I put the controller here. I think it has sticky tape on the back. No, it doesn't. I guess I can put some there or something. So I just stuck it in there for now. I don't want to drill any holes or anything, and these are the headlight controls, and this is the control for the LED scanner light. And it does all kinds of things, but I've got it on Night Rider scan mode, so I just turn it on and it does the Night Rider scanner automatically, or it remembers the last one that you had on. It has several colors, but I'm just using red. I have another video of putting this in the hood, installing the LED strip in the hood. And there's a little remote control for it, but the batteries are dead, I think, so I need to put some batteries in here. But you can control it with a remote. It has patterns, speed, and color. Aside from that, I've got all the wires tucked pretty good. Tuned racing pedal. High intensity sports pedal set. Tuned Performance Products. Those are the pedals that I was gifted. Excuse my mess here because I'm constantly working on junk and tucking wires and stuff. These are the wires for the power windows because the car never had power windows. It does now. This is switch for the electric fans. There's one of the build sheets for the car. I found it when I had the interior out and painted the floors. And there's another build sheet there. I found two of them. If you find the build sheet for your car, you're doing pretty good. But if you find two of them, I think that's like a miracle or something. I don't know. So I found two build sheets and the original bill of sale and a whole bunch of maintenance records. Good stuff. I've still got some of the rear plastics, or I guess most of the rear plastics are out still. And this one that goes up along here, I got the plastics out because I have the headliner out, and I don't want to put the plastics back in until the headliner goes back in. Man, it looks so tiny and naked with no coil packs on top. It looks clean like that though. Almost looks like a small block, like an old school small block. So driver's side is definitely going to be the worst. It's got lots of corrosion on it. I'm sure it'll clean up though if I hit it with a wire brush. And the wrinkle effects paint, the type of paint that I used, it does a pretty good job of hiding imperfections because it's like a wrinkly finish. So it'll be perfect. Very similar to this, same as this. So I'm still chasing this issue where it's a little bit hard to start. So I think I've got my mass airflow sensor in a good spot now. It's on a straight stretch here, so that should be okay. I was a little bit curious about this here because there seems to be some cracks in the rubber, so maybe it might be leaking here. There's actually a passage that goes to the front side of the throttle plate, so this would be the same as leaking past your mass airflow sensor, or between your throttle body and mass airflow sensor. I'm not too sure if that's leaking or not, but I'm seriously thinking it's something to do with the oil, because all the lifters are collapsed. So I guess I'll change the oil. I guess I'll put some thin stuff in it. I never had thin stuff in it before, like 530. Man, she looks good and she sounds good. Oh my goodness. Got the valve cover painted and put back on. And this side here needs to be done, so I got the coil pack off, and it's pretty simple once you get the coil packs off, and they're pretty easy to remove as well. So there's one big plug here and all the coil packs unplug, pretty easy. Now I'm going to take the valve cover off, and it really needs to be cleaned. And I got some more paint. Should have my tripod out here for this. I got the camera just sitting on the air filter and fender. These are center bolt valve covers, very similar to the LT1 that I put in the 87 FireBird. But these LS motors are Gen 3 small block. They have a really shallow valve cover. On the other side, I blew it off with some air, so that way if there's any dust, or it doesn't fall down in there. So I'll probably do the same thing. Man, that blowgun's got some serious recoil. Heavy duty. Alright, here she comes. Oh. Look at that. Yuck. Here's another swap meet find. That filter that I got on there. Found that at the swap meet. Oh, and it just sits onto there. K&N. Gasket looks fine and perfectly reusable. I'll have a look in here while I'm at it. Bank 1 looks pretty good. Everything looks clean and tight. That's the way you like them, eh? Clean and tight. Friggin' right. Yeah, that's good. One thing I did notice is that all the valves are closed. So I'm just assuming that all the lifters are collapsed. So I got some new oil. I'm going to change the oil. I'm not sure if this just happens because the engine has no oil pressure or what. I can wiggle them a little bit so they're not riding on the cam, or they're not open. But there's perfect amount of lash there. I don't see any sloppy ones. Everything's pretty clean. And I'm guessing, I know it runs, so I'm guessing that's because there's no oil pressure. So I'll just go over it with some power tools, or maybe the wire brush by hand. So I've taken the wire wheel here on the drill, and I just cleaned up in between these two bolts in the middle, just to show you, like, I can feel how smooth it is here now after going over it. And like, see all this stuff here, oxidization and crud and all that stuff. it does clean up pretty good. So just for like a before and after, and just you can tell just by the other valve cover that they turn out nice when they're done.
Is that it working?
I just got to lay down one more coat of paint. I'll just let that dry. That'll be 2 coats. That might be enough. I painted the valve cover, and I got some oil and a new oil filter. I got 5 liters of Castrol GTX Ultra Clean 5W30 and just a CarQuest filter R85042, and that's smaller. It's going to be smaller than the one I have on there now. The one I have on there now is a little bit bigger than that. Doing the first oil change ever on the 5.3, and it doesn't look all that good. It's not looking great. I usually use a 3-finger wrench, but there's not much clearance on this oil pan, around this oil pan. This filter appears to be a little bit smaller than the one I have on there now, but the parts guy told me that the part number is interchangeable with the same number I have on there now. So I'm going to go under and spin the wrench, or spin the filter off with this wrench. I'm not too concerned about head gasket or anything, because I popped the cap off the rad and the antifreeze is right full. It hasn't really gone down any that I'm aware of. So not too concerned about that. I think I did pour a little bit of Lucas in the oil, and I had a can of SeaFoam, and I was reading the SeaFoam, and it says you can put it in your oil, you can put it in your gas tank, you can put it in here and there. So I put a little bit in the oil. So it could be a mixture of SeaFoam and Lucas and having too thick oil, because I had 1030 or 1540 or something in there. So yeah, and the Lucas is pretty thick. So I'm going to change it. I'm not too concerned about the head gasket right now, because the coolant seems good, and I think the compression was good. So I'm just going to change the oil and see what happens. Okay, she's a little bit dirty under there, but yeah, I never painted the oil pan or cleaned the oil pan or anything. Part number R85522. That's the one I have on there right now, but she's coming off. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used this wrench before, but it seems like the right one for the job. Oh man, somebody had that on there. I got my drain pan under here, so I might need it for this.